Yesterday's topic. Nested links, statement, continue and break. So, yesterday the assignments which I gave you, what values can Boolean expression have, either a true or a false? Uh, do you guys have any clue, like how do we do this assignment? To take an integer and check whether it's a multiple of 5 or not?
Your screen is not shared.
Sorry?
Please share your screen.
Screen is
Are
not
you?
visible.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. Is it visible now to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. so, so the second assignment, anyone did this or any idea how do we do this? Multiple of 5.
Yes, I have done that.
Okay, how did you do it?
First, we need to take the input from the user
Yeah,
and check in if condition whether that is divisible by 5, the remainder is getting 0 or not.
great. Yes. Yes. So can we have if without else? Yes. So multiple of 5 and not equal to 50. So this I think you might have done using two conditions here. It's multiple
Yes,
of 5 and not equals to 50.
if with the end condition, right?
Yes, correct. So guys, like if these like from now onwards, like whatever assignments we are giving, like this might seem to be simple, but you will get a similar flavor, while doing going forward, whatever challenges, problems we have. So we will be using this if and else and these things only, like in most of the challenges. So these will be very important. Okay. Then what is that? Yes, so this one, if the user is printing one, then the output should be one. How did you did it? This one, number 4.
Nested if.
Nested if is right. Elif, you have done like
Yes.
that. Great. This one, write a program using for loop to print the following output. How did you do this?
Count should set to 10.
Yeah.
Then we need to print the count. Then count is equal to count minus 1.
Okay, but did you print this in a single line or in multiple lines?
Single line. End is equal to
Perfect.
space. Yeah.
It's really good. It's nice to hear. Who is this speaking? Like who has done all the assignment? I know your name, please.
Srijit.
Sujit. Great, Sujit. You you are actually learning all the concepts by doing. That's very good. We might have done like this, right? While I get is in 0 and I comma equals to this. Oh, okay. This I have not taught you, right? I minus minus or plus plus I.
No.
Okay. Syntax error. I think is it not allowed here? Okay. We have something like this in Java. See what is here. Python for this. I minus equals to 1. Will this work? 987654321. Okay. So this particular thing, what I did, I minus equals to 1. So I don't think so. Srijit, you would have done like this. You would have
No.
done I equals to I minus 1, right? So this is another way you will find many codes where like this is a short form for this, I equals to I minus 1. Okay. You can write it like this. or you can write the same thing like this. This is just a short form. This is known as, augmented operator. This is known as operators. Where are the operators? Two topics, operators. Huh? So this is binary operator. This is known as augmented operator. Under this, we can have, something like you can have a plus equals to 1, which signifies a equals to a plus 1. Okay. Here we are writing I minus equals to 1. It signifies I equals to I minus 1. Okay. Yes, this one I forgot to cover. Then what else we have? Uh, when while loop can become infinite, okay, when there is no terminating condition, it's just running through. How did you do this? Write a program using a for loop to calculate the sum of first 10 numbers.
Sum is equal to sum plus count
Sum
or
equals to,
value. Yeah.
yes, can wait. Using loop to print all multiples of 5 till 100.
Yeah, could you please explain it? Sum
Uh,
equal to?
okay, sum of first 10 numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, first 10 numbers, right? So we can do it like this also, but I will explain to you this one. Okay. So basically, if I write, in fact, you can have any number. Okay, not only this. Like this. So n is limit, and in input given eval here. These loops and these are very important because this is used everywhere. Okay, all the programming languages for any coding challenges, loops are very important. Enter the maximum limit. So, and we can initialize a variable sum, which will be 0. Okay, then we can do it. We can do it using while for every the loops also. I'm showing you for a while. Okay, so for using while, we have to use another variable. This will count. So while we will initialize it to 1. So till how long this loop will run. So if it is first 10 numbers, if you want a sum of 10 numbers, we can give 11, or we can give less than equal to 10. So here we are not limiting, making it static. It can be 100 also. So that's what we are taking the input and limit. Okay, and then we can do some plus equals to, or sum equals to sum plus, whatever you're comfortable with. Sum equals to sum plus count. Okay, so where shall we give the print statement? Shall we give the print statement here? Sum of limit, MIT, sorry, MIT. This is also important concept. Very good. So sum of n numbers, limit this numbers. sum of this many numbers is sum is sum. So uh, shall we give it here, control C, or shall we give it outside the loop?
Outside the loop. I initially also I have done this.
Okay,
See.
okay. Initially you also did this, right? Here only.
Yeah.
This
And
is
I got
the
every line got printed.
correct. This is the like every whenever you're starting, we will do like that only. Correct. So suppose I will show you both. We are commenting it for the time being. This one here, rather than doing this, we will just give sum is this. Let's see what is the output if we run this. Okay, it must be saved. Documents, Day4. This is sum of n numbers. So it is asking me enter the maximum limit. I want the sum of first n numbers. Oh, it went to an infinite loop. We did not terminate it. Fine. Control D. This went into an infinite loop. We have missed something, I guess. Is that we have missed? See, we are so this is very important parameter count, okay? Because if we don't increment the count, then while count is less than equal to limit, sum equals to sum plus count print. Okay, and it is again going to this. So count, we are not changing the value of count. So that is why it went into an infinite loop. Okay, we have to increase the count. And you see this indentation, we are maintaining some indentation here. If we remove the indentation, then we will get one syntax error. Okay, if I run like this, expected an indented block after while statement in line 6. Okay, so I'm just giving a tab here, and it is moving. What happened? I will give a tab here and it will move to its correct place. So we have to increment the count. If we don't increment the count, then it's a problem. We will run into an infinite loop. We will run this again. Enter the maximum limit, and so you see it is giving us this kind of value. So since we are printing it inside the loop, so 0 plus 1 will give you 1. Then we have the value of 1. 1 plus 2 gives you 3. It will print 3. So in this way, it is printing inside. But we don't want it this to print inside, right? We want it to print at one go, or like after calculating the sum of all the numbers. So we'll remove this. Use this. So numbers is this is a keyword. Sum of limit. Okay. Space. Fine. We'll save this. Run this. Okay. We have to terminate this double quote. Sorry for that. Now it is fine. run into the maximum. I want the sum of first three numbers. Sum of three will give me. It's not looking good. Sum of 3 6 is not looking good. Okay, so sum of three will give another is this much. This much. Okay, now it seems to be good. Into the maximum limit 5. So sum of, oh sorry, 5 is also not sum of first 5. Sum of first 5 numbers is this. No, it is fine. Into the limit 10. Sum of first 10 number is 55. Okay. Is it clear for everyone? Anyone having any questions in that?
Yeah, you have not written count equal to count plus one. It goes to,
Yeah.
it will go, yeah, infinite. How you are providing limit equal to 10, right? But why is going to infinite loop?
It's correct. I will tell you. Suppose I have commented. Okay, initially the value of count is 1. Okay. So it will check this condition. Okay, 1 less than equal to the limit. 1 less than equal to 10. It is true, right?
Yeah.
So sum of 0, sum plus contact. Okay. So 0 plus 1 will give you how much? 1. Okay. Suppose this statement is no longer there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, what
Fine.
happens? It will again check the count of check the value of count. So count is still 1, right?
Okay.
And limit is still 10. So 1 less than
Yeah.
10,
Got it.
again it will do the sum. Again it will check 1 less than 10. Again it will sum. Again it will check 1 less than 10. It will all. It will. It's like it's always true, right? 1 will
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
be
Yes.
less than
Understood.
10. Because we are not changing the value of. If we change the value of count, then after each iteration, the value of count will increase by 1, right? First it will be 1,
So,
then we are doing 2, then 3. Ultimately, when count will become 11, this condition will become false, and then it will come out of this loop, and then it is going to print this.
okay. Okay. Got it.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Anyone else having any questions? I don't think so. Fine. What about this? Who has done this program, this multiplication table?
Yeah, I have done that.
I've done that, right? Okay. So try doing it, guys. If you face any challenges, please let me know. We'll go with other topics today. Okay. So this was for sum of numbers. We'll just save it. Close. Yes. There are many flavors, while doing this for loops and while loops. If once you get the taste of this, you will do start doing many challenges. You will really like it. Okay. Now we have yes, I will show you one more thing. In this, what we are doing, the program will continue to run until the user types 0 from keyboard. Okay. So suppose I make it as a infinite loop while true. While true is always true, right? It will always be true. Okay. Uh, then we need to take an input. Before input, I will just give the user a hint what he has to type. Type 0 to exit from this loop. Okay. This is what user has to do. then we are taking the number as an input. Why are we using eval? Anyone wants to answer? We have covered this before.
Automatically convert to int.
Correct. Great. So if our number equals to 0, okay, we will break. I will explain to you what is break, okay. Else it will just continue. So we have used two words here. We are explaining the use of break and continue also here. Use of break and continue. Okay. So break is used to exit from the innermost loop. Okay. Or from the loop in innermost we will not understand now. From the loop in which it is present. Okay. Present and continue. So we are writing multiple comments, right? So we can make use of the multiple comment symbol, right? Rather than giving hash in each line, we
Yeah,
can give
three inverted commas.
three double quotes.
Yes.
Correct. So and continue is used to continue with the iteration. Continue. Next iteration. So after continue, what we are doing, we want to print something. Print continue just as it is. Want to save this? Okay, break and continue. Yes, where I'm saving it. March Python dash. Break and continue. No, not this one. Where's documents? Emergency. Okay, guys. So I will just run this. Run module. Yes, type 0 to exit from this loop. We are not typing 0, we are typing 12. Okay, again it is giving me a signal 21. And then if we type 0, it came out of that loop. Okay, guys. So just read through this program, guys. I just got an emergency. Just give me a 2-3 minutes break. I will be back. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for that interruption. Okay, it's a real emergency. Okay, just 2 minutes. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry for that delay. Okay. So, am I
What could
audible,
you
right?
explain, ma'am? Yeah,
Ha,
yeah, yeah.
yes, yes. Tell me any questions you have for this
Yeah, could you please once? Could you please run it once more? This program.
overall. Yeah, sure. So
Yeah, yeah.
basically, yes. So when we are giving an input, okay. Suppose it is
Okay.
non-zero input. We are giving 10, 11, 12. Okay. So this condition is getting checked. It is equal to zero. No. It is coming to this else part. In else part, the first statement we have continue. Continue means it will just continue with the first statement inside the loop. Again, it will type this.
Okay.
And the best part of continue is whatever code you have written after continue, that is not going to be executed. If you
Okay.
see
Okay.
the output, see anywhere you won't see this continue just as it is written, right? We have
Okay.
the first statement only. So, what is the
Yes.
use
Yes.
of continue statement? Continue is used to continue with the next iteration, and it is going to ignore. It is going to ignore the next steps after it. Understood? And what break will do? Break will come out of this entire while loop. So when we are giving zero as input, so it is coming out of this entire infinite loop. Okay. If we won't
Okay.
give zero, then it will keep on asking type zero to exit from this loop, type zero to exit from this loop. Okay. So this was the use of break and continue. Any question, guys? Break and continue we did. And I had few challenges also. Finding the maximum minimum among many integers, finding the duplicate among many numbers. So loop terminating with the user defined input. This I just showed you how do we terminate a loop with the user defined input. So this is the input zero we are giving, which is coming out of this loop. Okay, these guys I will give you an assignment. You can do it from challenges. Today we are going to cover an important topic. Functions. Okay, so you'll see this. Okay, so what are functions? So generally we use function to define any particular operation which we are doing. Okay, so rather than doing it, say for example, we are checking whether a given number is odd or even. Okay, so we can say if the number not 2 equals 0, and then else and odd. Hmm. Okay, so this is functions. Nothing else. Day 4. Yes. So, okay, this is one way of doing it. So another way which I am talking about, we can do the same thing, with the help of function. So the function generally starts with a def keyword. Okay. Function starts with the def keyword. So this is a keyword we cannot assign and we cannot have any variable name with def. Okay. Then we have the function name. Those the function of this we are checking whether number is given number is even or odd. Okay. So even check even or odd. So and then this in this we can pass any parameters or anything. Okay. So here we will be passing one parameter. We can name it anything, and then we will have a colon over here. Okay. And here our this will go, the logic which we are going to write, that is going to be present inside this. Don't do this, our program will give syntax error. Okay, this indentation proper. So this is num, this is number. It won't identify this, it just has to be same. Okay, so this will end our function definition. Okay, and then we need to call this function with this function name, and then we need to pass some value over here. So basically what is happening, we have identified, we have told the interpreter that this is a function, and we by using the def keyword. Okay, and this is the function name. Okay, and this is the function parameter. We are passing only one single parameter here. Okay, uh, and then we are writing our logic over here. Okay, so check even yeah. So and this is called function calling or function invocation. Okay, so if we run this now, we save it first. Oh, save, yeah, I should save only, sorry. Run module. So rather than doing it like this, we can make it like this, we'll give an input from the user, and then we can do an eval of this. Or if you don't want to do it like this, we can just take this entire thing outside this. I will give num equals to this num, or maybe n also. We'll make it more and enter the number. Enter the number. I have done 5. It is odd. So, rather than suppose we have this thing. Okay, first we want to check whether number is even or odd. Okay, then we want to check whether uh, the number is greater than 10. Anything, check number greater than 10. Okay, and declare a function with the same name. Let's see. We can give anything. Huh? We can give number also. It should not be a reserved keyword. Number is greater than 10. Print number is greater than 10, else print number is less than 10. That's fine. We have to pass the same parameter we're passing here also. Uh, okay. So this seems to be fine. Okay. Let's save this, run it, enter the number. I am giving it is 12. So it is even a number is greater than 10. So what I wanted to show you is, we can have this definition outside and our main program starts from here. Okay. So rather than having, like we are doing it sequentially after taking the input and putting the functions in this place, what we are doing, we are segregating it. Okay, we are segregating this function. So a bigger software, a bigger programs, they will have hundred and thousands of functions. Okay, so if we write like this, one after another, without you making use of functions, then whenever there is an error or any problem, it will be very hard to debug. Okay, but when we are using these functions, okay, when we are using these functions, then whenever we get an error and anything we need to debug, it is very easy. We can easily find out, okay, it is coming from this particular function or this particular class or this particular module. Then it is easier to identify also. And suppose if there is any changes in the code, then we can make a change, to the only the functions which we use. So functions make your life very simpler. Okay, to debug, to make reusability also. We can suppose in more than one program we are using the same functionality, so we can make use of functions over there. Okay, so we have function, this is the function name, this is the function body, and this is the return type. Okay, sorry, this is not the return type. Suppose we don't want to print here. Okay, we just want to return true or false. Okay, so if it is equals to 0, will return true, and if it is odd, will return false. And when we are calling here, we will store this return type in a variable called result. Okay, and then we are going to print this result. Okay, we save it. So for the first function, we are not printing anything. We are returning either a true or false. And the same thing we are printing in the console. Second function, we are doing it, whatever the operation, we are doing it inside this function only. Okay, the print, there is no return statement for the second function. Okay, so we'll run this. Enter the number 34. You see it returns true here. Okay. Yeah. And this second function is not, we don't have any return keyword here in the second function. Okay, so what if you want to print the result of the second function, result of our second function? Any idea what this is going to print, the since we are not returning anything? Sorry, this is the name, result of second function. Anyone want to take a guess what this second function, what will be this, since the second function is, this function is not returning anything. This function is returning not returning any value.
Null.
Null, exactly. But in Python, we don't have the concept of null here. It is known by something else. We will see it what it is. Okay. Enter the number. It is 12. See, it is NONE, none. Okay. So in Python, we don't have null or that null concept. We have something called none. Okay. printing none. So this, what else you have to cover? Anyone having any questions so far from this functions topic?
Yeah,
Return none.
please, could you please, when it is coming none,
None. You
the
know.
number,
Uh,
it only in print number is greater than 10. But after number
yes.
is greater than 10, it is coming again none, right?
So if you see the output, it is printing number greater than 10, and then it is printing none. Yes.
Why,
Ah,
why none is
so
coming?
so that's what I explained, right? See, it went into this loop. So we are calling the function here. Okay. So it is this function is getting called. Here we are here we are printing. Okay. And if you see the last
Yes.
statement, we have another print. If you can see, okay. Since this function is not returning anything, okay, since this function is not returning anything, and we are trying to print the this see, for the first function we are returning true, and we are assigning this to this particular variable result, and we are printing that. Okay, but for the second
Okay.
function, since we are not returning anything, so anything, nothing here means none. Okay,
Okay.
you can take it as a data type also, none data type. Okay, I have not done this. We'll
Okay.
check what is, if we are getting something for data type of this NONE. See, there's a class none type. Like we have int str float, we have something called none type. So if it is null here in Python, it is represented by none type. Okay. So this was this. Then we have something called default value. Okay. Default value. Yes. So suppose this function num, if we assign a value to this num equals to 10, okay, we give a value num equals to 10, and when we are calling this function check even or odd, suppose we forgot to give the value of n, the input, we don't give any input. Okay, so when, and default, default value, you have to use an equal to sign and put it in the parameter, so that if a user forgets to give any input, it will by default take the value as 10 here. Okay, so suppose before showing you the example of none, this default parameter. Yes. So suppose we are calling this function, we forgot to give any parameter inside this function, but as per the function, it should have one parameter. If we don't give this one parameter, then it will give us error. Okay, we'll check this first. Enter the number. I'm giving it as 12. So see the error. This function, one required positional argument. So one is required, right? And since we are not passing any parameters to this function, we are getting this error. Okay, because it is expecting to one parameter, and when we are calling it, we are not giving any parameter. So to overcome these kind of scenarios, when a user forgets, what we give, we will assign a default value to this parameter. Okay, so if a user forgets to give this, then it will take 10 as input. Rather than throwing that error, it will perform the operation on this numeric 10. Okay, so if we run this, enter the number, I'm giving us 33. See, 33 I'm giving, but it is printing true. Okay, uh, because we are not passing this 33 here, we are passing it as blank. But since we have given a default value, it is taking it as 10. Okay, am I able to explain you this concept of null? Guys, anyone having any questions? I think we are good, right? Okay. Yes. So this was one thing. And always remember this thing that any function, any function, how will we know, whether a variable, it's a variable or a function? Function is always going to have a bracket. Okay. So see, we are printing something like print A, B, C. So this print is also a function. Okay. Print is also a function, but it is not. So there are two types of function. Okay. We have something called user defined function, and we have something called, uh, built-in function. Built-in function, or built-in function we can have, or we can have, system function. So user defined functions is the function which we are defining, which is not present. Okay, like these function we wrote, right? So these are user defined function. Okay, and we can pass, these functions can have like more than one parameter. You can give hundreds of arguments over here. In real time we will have a lot of arguments. Okay. So you can give, as many arguments as your function requires. There is no limit to this. Okay. So these are user defined functions because we are defining. So there are few things which are built-in function, like you have print statement that is present in Python by default. Okay, we are not defining this print function anywhere, right? Print function is there, then you have, eval function is there, input function is there. So these functions are by default present in Python. We don't have to import anything for this also. So this we call it, built-in function present in Python by default. Okay. So suppose if you want to see what is the return type of this print function. Okay. So what we will do, suppose, so how do we get the return type? You see, when we call that function, we take the result in a variable. Okay, so we have called this number, this function, return type is true, we have stored it here, and then we are printing it. Okay. So suppose I want to see the return type of our print function. Okay. So return type of print function, I'm just doing a print A, B, C. Okay, now if you see the value of return type print, any guesses what this is going to return? It returns a blank value. Okay, it returns a blank value, but if we compare this with none, it's returning true. So anyone who want to explain this, why it is like this? When we are trying to print this, when we are trying to print this return type of print, and it is returning this value now. See, since return type print is a null value, okay, so it is not print, and we are not, by default we are not printing it. So it is here, it is not showing anything. Okay, but when we, so it is null value means it is having a none data type. So when we compare this with none, okay, then we are getting it true. So it is having a none value. Okay, so when we will print it explicitly, then it will show you this. Okay, so we can have, like uh, we can see what is the return type of other functions also, like this inbuilt function, like we have eval input. You can check it, like this, by printing it. You will get to see what are the return types of this. Now
Return type print is variable. I'm not. I'm confused. Return type print is a variable. What?
Correct. Return type print is a variable. Okay, this variable
Okay.
is storing the value of the return type of this print function.
Okay. Then it's
Like,
returning ABC. Okay.
sorry, then what? What is the question?
Yeah. 20 print of ABC. Then it's if you execute this command, it will return ABC. Why it is here print of return type print it will showing a none here. Print of return type print is here, right? Print of return type print.
This one. Huh.
So yeah, ideally return type print will come, right? Print of any string will come string, right? Why it is coming none?
Now, how do you know this is a string?
Okay.
How do you know this is a string?
Here ABC is there, right?
Yeah. Uh, A equals to ABC.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if we see uh, this print of ABC,
ABC.
but
Type of A.
but see, A equals to ABC and return type print equals to, are we doing only ABC, or we are using this function here?
Okay, okay. Print function.
This is a function. This is a return type of the function which we are assigning to this variable, return type. So we don't know what is the return type of this function. So
Okay.
that is what we want to check, and we see the return type, since this is not returning anything, as I showed here also, right? If this method was not returning anything, but when we printed the return type of this, it was giving a value of none, right? If you remember.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, somewhere something is gone. Is there? Oh, I have given this thing. Okay, so that is the concept here. Okay, so we have built-in function, and there is another type of function which are called system functions, which are defined in Python. For that, we have to import it. Okay, I will just show you one example. Then we will discuss on this in detail in tomorrow's class. Okay. So that is because of this function, what I'm going to show now. Python is very, it is versatile. It can be used it is being used many places. Okay. So I want to import square root function, okay, from this module, the square root, and then we can make use of this square root. So uh this is called a module. Okay, a module can have many functions, so math is having many functions. From that, we are taking the function square root, and we are making use of that function square root. Okay, so I will show you example here. Okay, these are extra things. We'll remove this. It's a running condition. Enter the number. And then, yeah, we'll close this. We'll open a new function. Yes. Uh, Print. Enter the number. Enter the number. Num equals to eval. Okay. Now, if we use that function, right, sqrt of num, right, we used here this only, right, sqrt, right? So save it. There's our system functions. So if you run this, you enter the number 16. So you see this, we are getting error. SQRT is not defined. Okay, this is not defined.
Yeah, yes.
So before using it, we have to import it. Okay, we cannot use this function. So print and all. See, we are using it like without any import and all, because they are present in Python by default. Okay. Math import SQRT. I save it. If I run this, enter the number. I've given 25. Oh, we are not printing it. We have to print this. Sorry, print this. So we are not getting that error anymore. Okay. Save it now. So you saw this. We are using this. So like this, we have n number of modules, n number of functions, which we can make use of this. So there's another function called random. Okay, there's another module called random, and there's a function called random. Okay, so what random does, it will print any number, any random number. Okay, I will show you more the use of this random maybe in tomorrow's session. If you run this, so this is the square root and this is the random. It's just printing a random number. So in data science, we have so many libraries, right? Which is like NumPy is there, so many. There are like thousands of functions. Okay, so how do they work? They also know, they will just import this. They will use that module, import it, and they will use it in their programs. Okay, so if possible, I will show you more of this inbuilt function system functions, and this makes Python very versatile. So it has created these modules, so many different types of modules. Like there is hardly any other programming language which for which there are so many modules developed and they can be used so easily. Okay, this is one of the strength of Python, which makes it versatile and that helps in in using Python in different kind of applications. Okay, so anyone having any questions so far? Then we can close the session. I think we are 10 minutes over time. Okay.
These all are built-in functions, right? Print, random.
Yes, correct. Print in eval import. We don't need to import anything. We don't need to give an explicit import like this to use it. They're built-in functions. They will come under built-in functions. So once you install Python, uh, then these functions you can use by default. But for using these kind of functions, random, square root, math, there in math also there are so many functions. So we have to make use of this explicit. We have to import the module. Okay.
That are system functions, right?
Yes, yes, data system functions. Correct. So anyone having any questions? Or we are good?
Good.
Okay then. Guys, thank you for your time. Uh, so now from now on, now what we are doing like loops and then functions, these are very important. Going forward, these will be very helpful. For understanding whenever we are doing big programs. So these things are the basic building blocks. If you don't understand functions, if you don't understand loops, then you will be having problem in doing further challenges or in real time work. So I would just suggest you to do the assignments and practice. The more you practice, the better you will be. Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
Aditi, then I think we can stop the recording. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Danish.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.